So there are 3 lessons
Okay.
that came from the movie that we have come up with. And basically, the first thing is that the importance that roles and mentors play and guides in our lives, and how important that is, and to be able to be open and be aware of what those teachings are.
Yeah.
Right.
And the interesting thing about, again, this particular movie is that this figure, right?
Bagger.
The one that plays the mentor role guide, it's like this spiritual figure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? It's, he's talking from a standpoint of life more than anything else, right? And there's a person that kind of like he says he has this one conversation with Testalusa, who's like the mayor of the town, and he says, "What are you doing with this guy?" And he said, "Oh, he's still confused. He still thinks he's Ranulph Jr." He said, "Boy, you damn twit. He is John Ranulph Jr." He's like, "He is and he ain't." Right? Because, again, that is the life cycle, breaking from one stage of life and going into other. A guide, it's able to do that. It's able to explain to you and help you find those answers within yourselves. That is the beautiful thing about individuals, like in this particular case, in a work of art. The beauty of someone like Bagger, someone like Yoda, someone like Obi-Wan, someone like Merlin. Merlin is a mystical figure, but yet it's a person that is able to evoke the higher qualities of Arthur, in the quest for the Grail. So you start seeing those things, and those people are the very special people that come into your life, or you seek them out. And then they're able to guide you through those things.
I think we often do seek them out, and we just don't even know that we're seeking them out, and they just appear, which is going back to being open and acknowledging that, okay, this person's here for a reason. There's something, here. So,
and again, this is the beauty. I mean, to me, just looking even a little deeper, he showed up, right? Out of the desire and the passion of a young boy to wanting to see Juna again play, right? So it's like it came from this place of, and again, not to get crazy over mystical, but he came out of his desire to help this man that this guy came about, right? And that's what happens to us when we desire something and we strive for that part, then things are attracted to us to help us achieve that. And whether and then the question is whether or not we choose to answer it.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that was the difference between Juna and this particular movie, that he did answer that call.
Yeah. So the second lesson that we got from this movie is that the concept of finding one's true self, authentic self, and letting go of ego and the need to win is essential for personal renewal and growth.
Yeah. So
letting go of ego, letting go of that idea of what we think we're supposed to be. Right. So our ego is an interesting thing, right? And we're going to do an episode because I'm trying to finish this, getting it scripted about the idea of ego, right? Because the ego is the things that have become conscious to us, right? And that we have allowed. But the ego represents only, whenever you looked at our Jungs, how Jung kind of like creates a totality of the self. The ego is like a small part on top, but the subconscious and then our feelings and emotions and all that stuff that is deep down inside, right? And the rewiring of our brains. So all that stuff in there is it's important. Now, the best line in this movie to kind of like describe the ego or the negative aspects of our ego is that part of the could have, should have, would have that we get stuck with, right? That you should live this particular way, that you should have done this, you should have been perfect, which is what he's struggling with. He failed miserably and people died. How do you move on from that? Yep.
But in our circumstances, it's as catastrophic too, because it feels that catastrophic when we failed. I know that from my personal experience of having to struggle to find a place that was uniquely mine, and not being accepted in different places, being ridiculed and all that stuff, and so I understand that it resonates with me, correct? But then you have to get past that. And to get past that, you got to struggle just like Juna struggled, and you got to have help just like he had help, So letting go of that ego. And there's a specific part in the movie in which he gets cocky because he thinks he's got it all figured out. And then, boom, the world smacks him right down. And he goes back to that place in which he almost has to cheat in order to get out of it. Mm-hmm. But
he chooses not to.
But Bagger is there, and then he helps him through it.
Yeah.
So that is the kind of like the idea about the ego. It's like you can't really. And the reason why he struggled with that is because he started focusing on what the people were saying and all this stuff. And you can't be doing things because what other people want you to do, they want you to be.
It's a societal thing that we're talking about earlier.
It's that conditioning and all that stuff, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Societal expectations.
And the expectations, and you live up to that, so you're willing to do certain things that you otherwise wouldn't really do.
Exactly, yeah. And the third and final lesson that we got from this movie, although there's more than this, is that despite our best efforts to control our lives in the universe, things don't always work out the way that we want them to. Mm-hmm. And sometimes we need to stop trying so hard and just let go of the need to be in control. And we have to accept things the way that they are.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and you know what? Other people say, well, that's kind of like having a defeatist attitude and all that stuff. But there are certain things in which we cannot control.
Right.
There's a lot of things actually we cannot control. Mm-hmm. We can't control truly 100% how our bodies are responding on a regular basis to certain situations, right? I mean, you were struggling last night with some stuff.
My body's betraying me.
Your body's betraying you. So there's like things like that, and then you have also the aspect of we're going on a sphere that as much as we try to predict it, we don't know exactly what will take place and what would happen.
Yeah.
Right. So we have to be cognizant of that reality as well.
Yeah.
Plus, more than anything, it's like we can't predict how people are going to take who we are.
Right.
And you could, so you could stop trying. You should try your very best to stop trying to live up to what other people might perceive about you, because you can't control that either.
And live your own life.
Exactly. You can't control that either.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will say that, now that I have chosen, and it sounds whatever, because I feel like I've always chosen this path, but now that I really accepted the fact that now I'm living my life for me and the way that I want to live my life, it does seem more lonely, but it's more peaceful.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And so you have to be able to, and some people are afraid of that.
Yes.
Because there's a loneliness that comes with it, although I love it sometimes. There is sometimes a loneliness that can be overwhelming and make me question, what am I doing the right thing? Am I on the right path? Am I, eliminating people from my life by being this way? Mm-hmm. But I'm not, because I'm living from my authentic self, or trying. I work on that every day to live from my authentic and that's my quest in finding my authentic swing, right? Mm-hmm. And it's not to say that you're gonna find it, like you're gonna find it and that's it. It's something that you're reintroduced to, right? And you make amends with it, and then how are we gonna proceed together? Mm-hmm. Me and that authentic swing, you know what I mean? That's how I look at it.
But again, if you look at anybody in history, right, that it's done kind of like live from the whole authentic self, there is a certain aspect of a loneliness that's associated with it, right? Yeah. Because it's only in that loneliness that you could really nurture and grow that individuality, that essence of your own spirit. It is only within that.
Yeah, and I know we've talked about this
do that
since day one of A Soul's Quest. We've always talked about you got to take time, separate yourself. 40 days, 40 nights.
Exactly. And it's in those 40 days and 40 nights in which you really find those deep core, that swing that is uniquely yours. You know, now once you feel confident with it, you know, you go out in the world and you put it out there. But it is so necessary to cater that aspect of yourself constantly and massage it and celebrate it, which is something that I'm working on celebrating and more.
And I think a lot of people probably fall short on that, celebrating the small things. You know what I mean? Like I had a situation happen today to me, and I was just like, this is humbling. Like, really? Like, that can't be all this hard work and effort. But it's one of those moments where you have to step back and do the whole massaging.
Yep.
Where am I going? Okay, no worries, you know, and move forward.
Exactly.
So,
yep.
Yeah, so those are the 3 lessons that we got from the movie.